middle of a crazy move right now, and I literally am not wearing pants right now because I've packed all of my pants into boxes. One of the things that I really failed to realize is that I'm still gonna be living here for a couple days, and now that I've packed everything away, I have nothing, literally, except this shirt that I found. I am doing a Q&A today just because I feel like I haven't done one. Oh my God. I'm gonna just reply to this one message. This really hot girl just asked me when we can make out, and my heart just like literally dropped into my vagina for a moment. So let's start off with the first question. If you guys don't follow me on Instagram already, I'm just gonna put my Instagram handle here. Go follow me on there. I'm trying to grow more of a following on my Instagram, and maybe like once I reach like, I don't know, 80,000 followers, I'm gonna start doing Instagram videos as well. So the first question is from my friend Saif. Why do you create? Have you had existential crises? How many? Have you had reality epiphanies? Holy crap! We're starting off with a really, really deep question. So I create content because I like sharing my life. I am a storyteller at heart. I think this goes back to like my love of writing. I just like to share. I feel like one of the wonderful things about being a human, and one of like the cool things about social media, is just the ability for us to empathize with others, to share in all of life's gory details. And I don't ever believe that we should hide who we are. I think that social media can be really toxic and negative, but I feel like in some ways it can be great because it brings people together who may not have otherwise met. Like if it wasn't for YouTube, if it wasn't for Instagram, like I wouldn't even know you, Saif. And content creation is just my way of sharing my story. And yes, I have an existential crisis like all the time. I feel like I have an identity crisis like every single week because I don't think I've really quite fully figured out who I am yet, but that's okay. I also don't want to put myself into a box, you know? Like I don't want to be known as a YouTuber. I'm just kind of like whoever I feel like being that day. Maybe that means I have a personality disorder. Next question is from Eric Fawn. When is your retirement on social media? I don't think I'm ever going to retire from social media. I think that even when I'm an old lady, I'll probably still have a YouTube channel, and I'll just like make like day in my life, watch me play shuffleboard and get my diaper changed at the nursing home. That will probably be a thing in like 50 years. Like I said before, I know social media can be really negative and toxic, but I feel like it doesn't have to be that way. And I think that we all should be part of this like growing change of people being more respectful and mindful and yeah, just respectful on the internet. I think respect is a big thing. I feel like we respect people in real life, but we don't online because we almost lose the sense of that being a real person on the other end of the screen. So, you know, just something to keep in mind. Brandon wants to know, worst YouTuber you collaborated with? Spill the tea. I haven't collaborated with a lot of YouTubers. I feel like I'm probably the worst person to collaborate with because I have like told people that I'm gonna collaborate with them and then I haven't because I've gotten too busy, and I suck at getting back to people. Like I am so in my head and all over the place all the time that sometimes I will, you know, say, yeah, let's collaborate, and then like it'll totally slip my mind for like 5 months, and then I won't ever get back to that person until they 5 months later message me and they're like, so what happened with our collab? And I'm just like, honestly, I don't even know what I had for breakfast today. West Coast Rebel, are you a professional model? And if so, is there any part of your job that scares you? I am not a professional model. I'm a pretend Instagram model slash Patreon model, I guess. I don't know. I don't really find anything too scary about it. I sometimes find the reaction from people scary. Sometimes people will judge me or people will call me names because I decide to do maybe partially nude photos. And I don't think there's really anything wrong with that at all. I don't think I could ever be a professional model just because I'm really short. I'm 5'1" and I don't like taking pictures that much that I could do that on like a regular basis. Bro, now what's the age range that you prefer in a guy you date, older or around your age? So when I was in my mid to early 20s, I went through like an old man phase where I just really wanted to date an older guy. I wanted to date a guy in his 40s, and I did date a bunch of guys who were 40 and up, and then for a little while I switched to just dating guys in their 30s. And what I have found is that age really is not an indicator of maturity. You can meet a guy who's 35 who is super immature, and then meet a guy who's 48 and he will be just as immature as like a 27-year-old. And actually I find that, you know, if a man is a little bit older and he's still single and he's never been married and has no kids and doesn't really have any other responsibilities but to himself, then that can be a little bit of a red flag. Not always, but sometimes I've run into this issue where you know, I've been out with a guy who's 45 and like he can't even take care of himself, like much less another person or a family. So now I'm open to any age. If I meet somebody and I fall in love with them and they're 32 or 35 or 50, I'm open to that. But I do think that there is like a cutoff point. I don't think I would go much higher than over 50. I feel like if they're really close to my parents' age, it would be awkward. Bringing them over for holidays and stuff, it would just kind of be like strange. It's Amy Beth. What are you most proud of about your documentary? I am really proud of the story I found. I went into filming with a lot of different ideas of what this documentary would be. I had so many different themes I was exploring, but the story really organically came as I traveled around the United States and interviewed different patients, and the story that I ended up with is so much better and so much more beautiful than I could have possibly imagined. And now it's all about just like editing and piecing that story. And another question from It's Amy Beth, who is asking some really great questions, by the way. Do you think you'll ever write another book? So I always write like half of a book and then never finish it. So I wrote like a dating guide for men a couple months ago, and now I'm working on a book about my illness, which is gonna kind of go hand in hand with my documentary. I think that's the one I want to pursue the most, and I still want to finish my dating and love guide for men and maybe like make that available as like a digital copy on Amazon. That's a possibility. Next question is from Metalifan63. How does it feel to be a sex symbol? I never really see myself that way. I am flattered that you think that about me. I don't really feel like a sex symbol. Maybe online I do, like online on Patreon, but in real life I feel like such a nerd. And that's like such a girl thing to say, like, oh my god, I'm such a nerd. I love Star Wars. Like, no, but like really, I'm a total fucking weirdo. Next question is from this one guy. He keeps asking me what's my biggest sex toy. It's like really concerning that that is all he cares about. Next question is from Max Me. Do you do DMs? I always try to go into my messages and see who's writing me and respond to as many people as possible. Actually, by doing that, I have made a lot of really awesome friendships on Instagram in particular. But unfortunately, sometimes that can go awry. I have messaged back a few people and they then get really, really creepy on me, and then they get the wrong idea. Next question is from MiaSir89. Any plans to visit New Zealand soon? So I'm not sure, probably not, but I actually am going back to Australia in November. There's like a pretty good chance that I will be going back. I will not be going to Melbourne this time. I think this time I'm actually going to be going to the area near Adelaide. Don't ask me why, it's a secret, but just know that it's for a really good reason. And the last question, would you ever date a fan? This is a question that I get so often, and I assume it's because maybe some of my fans like me to the point where they might want to date me. You know, I would, I guess, be open to the idea, like never say never. I'm in contact with a lot of people who I guess you could say are my fans. I'm gonna equate fans with anybody who just follows me on social media. Let's just call them people that watch my shit. You just never know who you can connect with, who you may have chemistry with. I have met up with people who have found me through YouTube. For example, there is a guy in Denver, Colorado who's been watching my channel for a while, and he's always commented and like messaged me really nice things, and he has 2 really cute dogs. And so while I was in Denver, I was like, let's meet up for a beer, because sometimes it is nice to put a face to the person and see who they are, what they're all about. And of course I have to feel like, okay, this person's safe, like they're not sketchy, I'm not gonna get murdered, I'm going to meet them in a public place. But he was really nice. I feel like I much prefer doing that than having a meetup. I would never do a meetup. Actually, it's so funny. My mom literally thinks that if I have a meetup, I'm gonna get murdered, because I do get a lot of crazy messages. Like for example, there's like this really creepy, weird Canadian guy who recently got my address and sent me a whole bunch of maple syrup stuff. I actually ended up eating it. That was probably not the smartest thing I could have done. I could have died, I could have been poisoned, but it was sealed, you know? So I felt like it was safe. So yeah, Bob from Canada with the weird maple syrup fetish, stop sending me shit. But also, if you want to send me those maple syrup cookies again, they were really fucking bomb. So like, so yeah, that is like pretty much the reason I'll never do a meetup, because I just attract weirdos. But if I meet somebody through social media and I am able to dissect that person on a personal level and distinguish and make sure that they are not a creep, then yeah, I would totally meet up with them for a beer or a drink. So anyway, that's gonna be it for today's Q&A. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I did the best I could given the circumstances. My dogs are going crazy. Perfect time to end the video. So the next time I see you, I'm gonna be in my new apartment. I'll probably do an apartment tour. So yeah, definitely stay tuned for that. Make sure you click the subscribe button and the little bell next to it so you don't miss another video. And also for as little as $1 a month, you can gain access to exclusive content you can't get anywhere else. It's called Patreon, and it is a special sexy website where I post my photo shoots, videos, story times. I have a private Snapchat, private Instagram, and a forum where you can talk to me personally. So go check that out. I will also link that down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!